What's going on, everybody? Welcome. Today is Wednesday. It's January 25th, 2023. My name is Jeremy, and this is my first cup. Good morning, Liz. Good morning, Dennis. Good morning, Andy. Good morning, Rebecca. Good morning to all of you out there. I don't know when you're watching. You could be watching this 1,000 years into the future. And I'm going to guess that you will find many things about this very strange. In fact, you might find it strange right now, because let's face it, it kind of is. A morning show about martial arts, and I sit here and I drink a cup of coffee, tea, whatever it is on that particular day, and we chat. Sounds ridiculous, but guess what? We've been doing it for years, and some of you really dig it. And I appreciate that you really dig it, because otherwise I would be talking to nobody, which is what I do much of the day. Thanks for coming by. Good morning, Gad. Good morning, Brian. I am still kind of riding high, a little bit tired, but quite thankful. We had a Whistlekick team meeting yesterday. And one of the things we did, the way we kicked it off, was we talked about all the wins from 2022. And it was a long list. I would dare say that there is no other organization in or even adjacent to the martial arts that did as many big, cool, and new things in 2022 as we did. Show me anybody who did. I would love it if other companies were pushing the envelope as hard as we are, but they're not. So thank you to all of you out there who helped make all of the things in 2022 so incredible. And to those of you still sticking around, 2023 is going to be more and better and bigger, because we're going to keep moving forward, because that's what we do. It's what we do as martial artists, isn't it? We keep making the things we do better, and we add new stuff when it's appropriate. We have a big toolbox, and that's what we're doing at Whistlekick. We're building out the toolbox to serve all of you, the traditional martial artists out there. Good morning, Jenny. I am tired, but in a good way. Yesterday was a very strange day, in that I was at the gym at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, because it wasn't going to happen in the evening, and I really wanted to go. And there was a hole in my schedule, and I went, wait a second, I can do that. It was very strange to be at the gym at that time, and even the people who run the gym said, what are you doing? What are you doing here? This is not your time. This is not evening. Do you know what time it is? And there were a whole different group of people at the gym. It was very odd. One of them, there was this woman who had brought her laptop in, and I was like, what's going on here? She's like, oh, my work makes me, check in. I have to move the cursor once in a while to show that I'm here. So she's doing a class and gets out of the class and wiggles the touchpad and goes on the treadmill, and she's got her laptop there and she's tapping at it every few minutes. So, wow, I don't know what you do, but I hope it's not overly important. Thanks. So that was yesterday. I want to hear about your yesterday. What'd you do? What else did I do? Had some meetings. Some good stuff. Some good stuff going on. I'm thankful for a lot of what we have happening. And today's going to be an interesting day. So most of you know, or at least have heard me say, there's an event, a martial arts event, starting Friday in Atlantic City. The original plan was that I was going to hang out with some of the Superfoot folks tomorrow evening. That's sounding like that's changing, just the timing of it. And I asked for clarification, did not get any clarification back. We'll see. But what that likely means is that I'm not leaving until Friday morning. And if that's the case, I get a whole day back. I moved all my meetings. I feel a little guilty about that. Hey, I moved all my meetings and now this thing is not happening. But it is what it is, right? And that means I can do all sorts of things. Like I can actually pack for this trip. I can pack for the next trip. Where am I going? I'm still not telling you. And there are a handful of work things that I want to do because let's face it, packing doesn't take that long. You throw some clothes in a suitcase. That's most of what it is. I've got a bin out of all the stuff that I need. Actually, I have 2 bins. I have the Atlantic City bin and the other bin. The other bin is a larger bin. Liz says they make mouse jigglers just for that purpose. I have heard about this. This is fascinating to me. And if it were not for my very strong convictions, I would get one of those jobs. Heck, I might get 6 of them. But I can't get over the ethical hurdle on that. So Jenny says, I saw those advertised heavily during the time of which we do not speak. The Voldemort era, if you will. I'll share a funny with you. So most of you know I was at a Tony Robbins event in December. There's another event I'm going to in August. And in signing up for that event in August, I received free admission to a smaller event or a less costly event that the time was not yet determined. They said, you can do the virtual one in March. And I was like, well, you know, I kind of want the energy of being there. So when's the next in-person one? Oh, we're not sure. Okay. Well, they put out the dates. The dates are second weekend of November, which we got verbal confirmation yesterday is the weekend of Free Training Day Northeast. So for those of you keeping track at home, make sure you get that on your calendar now. Free Training Day Northeast, that whole weekend where you've got stuff that will start running for school owners Thursday, 11, 10, 9. So the 9th through the 12th, those 4 days, I would encourage you to block them off now. We will be, as soon as we get official in email writing, yes, you can have this date, this weekend at the school, we will start putting out save the date information. But that's also the weekend of the other event. So the woman wrote back, she's like, well, you know, here are the dates. And I was like, well, you know, here's the thing. I can't be in 2 places at once. It was really, and I kind of went in, it's not going to be as funny in voice, but I've already set it up. So I got to finish the punchline, right? I said, you know, I remember watching Hermione do that and it was really impressive, but I haven't figured out how to do that. Now, if the Tony Robbins organization has a program so I can learn how to do that, that'd be awesome. Just let me know. Otherwise, we're going to have to find another way. And she wrote back, and it was very clear that I made her day, made her laugh. And that's one of the things I like about certain movies, like the Harry Potter movies or the Lord of the Rings movies, the Star Wars movies where even if you haven't seen them, you know the names. And let's face it, almost everybody's seen them. So I don't have to explain, well, in Harry Potter, do you remember the scene where I can just say Hermione? She knows what I mean. She probably knows the scene. She probably grew up reading the books. She's probably seen the movies half a dozen times. Meet people where they're at. Rebecca says, I'm preparing my house to put things in storage, sort of an early spring cleaning. So I was busy packing and sorting a nice home cleanse. Oh, that's awesome. Stacy says, good morning from the Capitol Plaza in Montpelier. Stacy and I had dinner last night because she's a few miles that way. Had a wonderful time. Oof. Rebecca, I am sorry. That is heavy stuff. I wonder if anybody has some support or anything in the chat. I got nothing on that one. Other than, I guess the one thing I will say, so I'm not going to put it up on screen, but Rebecca's struggling with whether or not to send her kid to school because of how he's feeling. And I would say, at the end of the day, what is most important? Checking boxes that he went, him maybe learning something, or him feeling loved and supported and healthy. I'm not a parent. I recognize that is easier to say than do. But that's all I got for you. Oh, you know what else is supposed to happen today? Because I did get a phone call yesterday. I'm kind of pumped about this. The next Whistlekick order. The order that was originally going to show up in time for me to sell it for Christmas. This is part of why I get frustrated. And this is part of why we have diversified away from selling products. Because keeping the logistics on track is pretty much a full-time job. And I don't have the time for that. So if everything goes right, I'll grab those boxes. And that's another thing that I will do tomorrow if I don't leave, is I will get that inventory loaded in. And then I expect to come home Sunday and have, 10 to 20 orders that I'll have to pack, that I'll get to pack. And we'll go from there. All right. Frank gave us stuff. We're going to talk about it. I'm rambling a lot this morning. I feel like I'm all over the place. But such is my brain. All right. Thank you, as always, to Frank for your work on the show. Thank you to Josh for our theme song. Thank you to Denise for the audio feed. I wonder if this is a corporate holiday in a sense. Yesterday was National Just Do It Day. I didn't know that was a day. National Just Do It Day is a great day to observe because it means getting a bunch of things finished that have been waiting to be done. Use some of these ideas to celebrate the day. Celebrate's a little strong of a word. I once developed an algorithm for a task management system that I wanted to call Get Done. And I built it out in Excel and tested it with employees, and it worked well. But by the time it was fleshed out well enough, Whistlekick was already underway, and I didn't want to develop that too. Fast forward a few years, and that program exists. I didn't make it, but it's called Motion, and it handles all the things that I had, because most task management programs are stupid. What is it? When does it do? Is it a high priority, medium priority, low priority? Yeah, that works if you've got 4 things to do. What if you have 100? Literally. It chokes because it tells you to do all of them at once. Not Motion. What is it? Usemotion.com, something like that. I believe that's the website. It's incredible. And if you are someone that has to manage many, many tasks, I would strongly encourage you to do it. And if you want, you can email me, and I think I have a code I can send you. It gets you like a free month or something. Stop procrastinating. The most important thing to do on National Just Do It Day is that thing you've been putting off doing for some time, whether it's an item on the honey-do list or just a book you've been meaning to read. This is the time to do it. Take that pile of clothes to the dry cleaners to be mended, cleaning out that closet, emptying the recycle bin, or sending that bag of donations to the homeless shelter. Whatever is lying around, a little bit forgotten, but never far out of mind, can be accomplished today. It's getting a little suggestive. Find a National Just Do It Day buddy. One of the best ways to avoid procrastination is to have an accountability partner. And a great way to make this work is to share each other's National Just Do It Day list the day before. This allows for a bit of accountability. And by the way, accountability is huge. We are quite willing to disappoint ourselves, but for some reason, we don't want to disappoint people we love. And you know who we hate disappointing even more, which makes no sense, but it's true? Complete strangers. This allows for a bit of accountability, knowing that this friend will ask about the various tasks that are on the list to be performed. It's an ideal situation for helping each other get some stuff done. It's one of the strategies I use. If there's something that is important and I'm going to do it, I tell everybody. I tell you, I'm going to do this today. And then if I don't do it, I'm like, man, am I really going to show up on First Cup and tell all those people that I didn't do the thing I said I was going to do? That doesn't make me look good. So I do it. Brush up on some motivational learning. Motivation is known as the condition that can help to activate behavior and keep it going toward meeting a goal. Learning more about what brings motivation can help people apply it to their lives. And of course, National Just Do It Day is the perfect time for it. Let's talk about motivation. What motivates us? Consequences. Most motivation comes back to consequences. If I don't go to work, I lose my job, and then I don't have money, and then I don't eat and don't feed my family, and right. If I don't go to class, I won't learn this new thing. I won't spend time with the people I like. I won't get to train. A lot of motivation really is negative. But on this show, over the last few months, actually longer than that, we've spent a lot of time talking about why you do things and how powerful it is to connect with your why. Why am I going to take this day tomorrow that I could just call an off day because I already cleared my schedule and do other work? Because the work that I'm going to do is important and powerful and moves Whistlekick forward. And that's important to me. I'm going to get that inventory into the system, assuming everything shows up today. And I'm going to, what's the other thing I got to do? I don't remember. There's something, it's in green on my calendar. I can see it. There's this other thing that I said, oh, if I get this day back from traveling, then I can do this. Great. I rarely need to find motivation because the things that are on my list are important. If there are things that you are pushing off, you're probably not remembering why they're important. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. Clearly, you don't want to do it. So do you have to do it? Can you get somebody else to do it? Can you hire somebody to do it? Can you just not do it? Can you do it in a different way that you would like to do? Or at the very least, can you find some really positive outcome that motivates you, that gets you juiced up, that brings you a positive, strong why, and do it? I bet you can. You may not want to, but you can. Craig is here. Good morning, Craig. Good morning, Nathan. Liz says, well, I can say I successfully celebrated Just Do It Day yesterday without knowing it existed. That's pretty solid right there. This week, in spite of being under the weather, I've been killing it. This week, I attended a Tony Robbins seminar yesterday, and that certainly helped with motivation. Yeah, it does. There's a bunch of free stuff happening in that organization, and many of you would benefit from checking it out. Just throwing it out there. Craig instantly jumping in, being supportive. Most of us have to-do lists, right? We have all this stuff that we feel we have to do. Most of it we don't have to do. Most of it we want to do. And remember, there's power in that choice. Making that word choice is really important. You don't have to go to class. You don't have to prepare for your test. You get to. You hopefully want to. If you don't want to, once in a while is fine. If you never seem to want to, there's something off, and you should figure out what it is. If I never want to go to class, maybe there's something missing. And that has happened. When I've left martial arts schools, it's been because I'm frequently not wanting to go train there. Okay, well, why? Is it the instructor? No. Is it the people? No. Is it what we're learning? Maybe a little bit. Or I can flip it. Why would I want to go to this class? Well, there really isn't anything compelling about it. Time to find another school. Liz is killing it because there are things in front of her, I'm sure, that are important. If we focus on what's important, what we need to do, and we stay connected with why we need to do it, we get it done. When the task sits there, one of those things that takes 10 minutes to do and it's been sitting on your desk or your list for 6 months, it's not important to you. I've said this before. I keep saying this. It frustrates people to no end. The way we spend our time reflects our priorities. But it's true. Well, sometimes we have to do, you have to do those other things because you've made those other things more important. Nobody told you your job has to be the most important thing in your life. You chose that. Nobody said that your family has to be the most important thing in your life. You chose that. I'm not arguing your choices. I'm suggesting that there is power in that choice and the recognition of that choice. is incredibly valuable. And if you want proof that your job or your family don't have to be the most important thing in the world, just take a look around. There are plenty of people who are lazy and suck at their job, and plenty of people who are lazy and suck at being part of a family. The world doesn't collapse and they don't die. Are there consequences? Yes. But that doesn't mean that you don't have choice over what it is you do. And when we apply that knowledge, that recognition that there is choice and there is power in choice, the world can start to look a little different. I don't know what else I have for you today. I hope if we connect all these dots from today, that you will find something that you've been putting off. Actually, I'm going to suggest you find two things you've been putting off. Find one of them that you didn't put on your list. Probably somebody else put it on your list. You don't like it. You don't want to do it. Maybe you don't even have the skill to do it. And it's been sitting there for so long that there really aren't consequences. Hey, can you do this next week? Yep. 4 months later, it's not done. Just cross it off. If it's not important, it would have been important. I read years ago, and I've never done this, but I think it's fascinating. A CEO of a Fortune 500 company every 6 months would delete all of his email. Just, it's probably 10, 15 years ago. And his logic was, if it's important, they'll email me again. They'll call me. They'll schedule a meeting. There's something to be said for that, right? The other thing I'm going to encourage you to find on your list is something that you deep down know is important. You know it needs to be done. You know it's beneficial, but you've been resistant to it. And spend some time thinking about why. Why have I not done this? Here's a good example. I swapped over the wireless network here. And actually, I did not plug in the cable, and it seems to be fine today. Knock on wood. Yay. But when I did that, with the new gear, I had to change all my security cameras. I've got several of them. I'm not going to tell you how many. There are still, I'm counting, 1, 2. There's at least 2 that I have not switched over yet. It's been a few weeks. Now, why is that not important in the moment? Well, because I don't expect someone's going to come try to break in my house right now. I don't expect someone's going to come try to break in my house ever. But it is important because they might, and I am going away. So the importance does kind of bubble up a little bit. Now I've connected to the why. I want to be able to check my cameras while I'm away and feel confident and safe so I can relax that my home has not been broken into. Oh. Now it's important. Now I have some urgency. I have a good, strong why. Find that why, get it done. Gad says, I'd like to draw a parallel with martial arts if I may. You always may. Please do. You made a choice to use that block followed by a punch, then follow through with it and accept the consequences. Then you can move on in the fight. There's a deeper conversation there because for most people, that is not a conscious choice. Maybe if you're moving slowly, a la some of the work that I do with folks and the things that I am passionate about teaching, but for most of us, it's autopilot. And if you'd like, we can talk more about that tomorrow. Until then, it's time to say goodbye. I appreciate you being here. Make sure you're following us everywhere: Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Rumble. I'm sure there are others that I'm missing. Follow us in all of the groups: Whistlekick Martial Arts Radio Behind the Scenes, the Fun and Friends group, the Debate group. Make sure you are on the newsletter list. And if you go to pretty much the easiest one is whistlekickmartialartsradio.com, but there's a section on whistlekick.com. If you sign up, you'll end up on the email list. And if you want to support us, we've got the Patreon, patreon.com/whistlekick. Oh, that was the wrong one. I don't want that one. I want this one. There we go. Patreon. Use the code FirstCup15 at whistlekick.com. By the way, we are down to 5, and based on verbal yeses, 2 all-in weekend registrations available. It's almost gone. I'm super excited. Do you know how much great stuff Andrew and I are going to do with 3 months to plan? I'm pumped. And of course, we've got the family page. If you're family, if you come to the show, you're probably family. Whistlekick.com/family. All sorts of behind the scenes and stuff you can do to help and all that good stuff. I update it once a week. I hope you have a great day. I hope to see you tomorrow. Hope to see you tomorrow. I might need a nap today. All right. Take care, everybody. And I'll see you then.